Hi, in this video, we'll be talking about decimal operations. So decimals, it is that simple. It is like whole numbers, but how do you manipulate those numbers? So first of all, we'll look at the operations. The first rule, plus and minus, 2.678, 26.79. This is a good example that shows all the rules you need. First, have decimal, the dot, on top of one another here. Okay. Second, just align the rest as you see it. Don't add a zero between numbers. If there's a zero, it has to be at the end of the digits, at the end of the number. Okay. Keep it as it is. And then replace space with 0. So if there is space, just replace it with 0. That's it. Like this one, there's nothing, it's just 0. And then do your calculations. As simple as that. And then when you're doing the calculation, you can already, in the answer, put the decimal where it should be, like below the other two. And then you just do the normal operation. Let's take plus, would be 8, 6, 1. The same rules apply. 14, 9, 2. That's it. Now, what if it's subtraction? Let's say 2.5 minus 0.75. Again, what did we do? The dots on top of one another, and then we keep it like it is. And then the top, there's nothing, so it is 0. Now we can proceed. 0 minus 5, in the same way as in whole numbers, we have 10 minus 5, that is 5, and we bring back the borrowed 1. That would be 5 minus 8, same thing. 15 minus 8, that would be 7. We bring back the borrowed 1 down here. 2 minus 1 is 1. And again, you bring the decimal, the dot, below the other two dots at the top. That's simple. Again, if there is a space that is not aligning with the other number, replace it with 0. That's it. So this is plus and minus basics. What about multiplication? In multiplication, do it as in whole numbers. And then count the total number of decimals. So by decimal, I just mean the number of digits after the dot. And then place that number in the result. So place or apply in the result. For example, you have, so this is multiplication. You have 2.55 times 1.2 2, multiply. Let's say you get, after multiplying, of course, you follow the same rules as in whole numbers, but let's say your answer is 328,590, something like this. Count how many decimals we have. How many digits? 1, 2, 3, 4. So count the same number from right to left. 1, 2, 3, 4. And place your decimal. As simple as that. That's it. So multiply blindly without the decimal. And at the end, count how many decimals you have and then go back that same number. Division now. In dividing decimals, you have to make the divider into a whole number, WN, whole number. How do you do that? Let's say you have 3.5 divided by 1.5. You want to make 1.5 into a decimal, into a whole number. How do you do that? You move the dot by one digit, in this case, like here. You do exactly the same thing on the number, the dividend. Okay, that is 3.5. You move to the right by one digit here. So now we have 5 divided by 15. You can just omit this. And the division goes on. At the end, you don't need to go back to place any decimal. That's it. It's like whole numbers. Let's try this. 2.58921 divided by 1.23. Again, how many digits after the dot? 2. So we'll delete this decimal. Now it's a whole number. But how many should we move from the dividend? That would be 2 as well. So 1, 2. So we'll place it here. And then when you do the multiplication, until you are bringing this number, the first number after the dot, when you are bringing that down, it is at that point that you need to put a decimal here. In the same way, in doing the 35, so 35 and 15 and 35, we have 1, 2. So 30, we have 5 left. And we are continuing with 1, 0. So that 0 causes us to add a dot, a decimal. In the same way, when you are adding a number that is after the decimal, you need to bring this decimal down here. I hope that makes sense. And that's it for operations. As simple as that. Of course, there will be word problems like in whole numbers, using decimals. Just know how to use to do the operations that we just saw here. Now, a little bit of conversions. Again, we saw that 0.06 into a fraction. It is 6 for the number that you see, divided by how many digits after the decimal? 2. So 120. So this is how you convert any decimal into a fraction. That's it. How about this? 25. 0.25, that is 25 over 100. What about this? 0.0001, that is 1 over 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 zeros. That's it. Now we will be seeing an example.